Hey guys, welcome back to Marriages Restored in Faith. My name is Ray.
Hi guys, my name is Dora. It is Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. Already 2 days going into November.
Yes. So, we're supposed to be expecting some severe thunderstorms here today. Supposedly tornadoes as well. And that's funny because that's what we're going to be talking about as well is this weather stuff that's going on out there. We all see it. We all know that what's going on. And we just wanted to speak about some of those things today. We have about 6 videos and articles to share with you as well for you to be prepared as well and for you to see this. But I will pull up my phone and I will look it up on my phone and show you on 2 videos because it's not allowing you to watch it on our Facebook,
right? And
for some reason,
right. And as of right now, hopefully we are live on Facebook as well. They're allowing us to do that, and Jules giving me the thumbs up that we are. So great! Thank you for tuning in, our Facebook people.
Yes.
We're back. How long? I don't know, but we're here today.
It happens, but that's what you have to deal with. There's so much happening, so many distractions, so many stories to talk about. In fact, we're just listening to this homesteader was talking about chicken, on how the chicken that she has purchased from the stores is not any good. From her experience, we don't buy any meat, whether it's chicken or beef, from the local stores.
Right.
We get all of ours from the farmers. If you're not aware, you see what's happening with our food system. So I want to share with you, if we can talk about, or before we get into the weather, we can talk about prepping. And this is on a daily basis. This is every single day that we should be aware of our surroundings. And I want to show this first video, if we can get number 1. And the reason I want to show you this, because I was explaining to my daughter, she's young at age and just about to start driving on her own. I've mentioned to her, you always have to pay attention. I always tend to look in my rearview mirror, and for the specific reason, as we're about to show you, this is why I look in the rearview mirror, is because I want to make sure the other person right behind me is going to stop. Just because I stop and the person in front of me stops doesn't mean the person right behind me is going to stop.
Right.
And that is something we have to be aware of. And it goes on to prepping for everything. This right here, this is sad of what happened here. That person, and we all seen it. We've seen people on their phone. It's like they don't have to. It's like they won't wait for to answer the text message until they get home.
Right.
Like they can't wait for that, or they can't wait until they get to the destination to answer their phone. And so as you see, this is a horrible accident what happened there. And I'm having trouble with my laptop over here, but that's okay. I'll deal with it. So I want to share this one with you. And as you can see, the other person in the red car, he was paying attention. He started moving as it went. So let me share something else with you. If you can show me number 2. And this is talking about weather. Weather has been weaponized. And if you're not aware, I know there's people out there that do not believe that weather is being manipulated, weather is being weaponized, weather is being controlled. There's people actually, they still don't believe it, even though if they tell it to them in their face, even though if the person that is in control over the weather tells them, look, this is what we're doing. We're going to control the weather. We're going to make tornadoes. We're going to make hurricanes. We're going to make all this. And we're going to control it, and we're going to do it. And the person right in front of them will say, I don't believe it. And then it happens, and they still say, I don't believe it. And it happens again. Oh, I don't believe it. I don't know what it's going to take. I honestly don't know what it's going to take to wake some people up. On this one, as you can see, the photos, there's actual footage of it. You can go on there, and it's, I believe Sky News had one that was showing you the actual footage of it, video of cars being all piled up together.
Yeah, and it's really really sad because the people are just walking around looking to see maybe where's their vehicle, or if they could go around and see if they can find some other ways to get around all that destruction. But you got to really really look at it and see how is this even possible. How did this happen? Because when you go on those videos and you listen to the people talking, they just tell it just came all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
They had no warning.
I was listening to another video from this prepper that is in that area from Helen, the hurricane from there, and he says, "What have I learned in these past few weeks of it being without power?" He says he's learned a lot. He said that they thought they were prepared, and they were not prepared. They could learn a lot. They could prepare better now that they know. Let me share something with you of what right now our generation actually looks like. If we can show number 3, and then we're going to share some more about stocking up and prepping. I'm going to go through this pretty quick because I'm trying to make this shorter, because I know this is a Saturday and people have other things to go do, and either whether some are actually still prepping today.
Yeah.
Others are out shopping and doing whatever and spending time with family. We get that. But this is really important because we have to get ready for what's next. What do you think next week is? What do you think is going to happen on the 5th?
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and play this video first.
I'm an idiot, and here's why. My laundry machine takes quarters. Naturally, I'm like, where does one just get quarters? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on Amazon and buy quarters. You can buy like rolls of quarters on Amazon. I'm like, perfect, I'll do that. And he's like, 72 rolls for $10? That the math doesn't equal up, but that's a score. Like, I'm getting 72 rolls of quarter sleeves with quarters in them for $10. Like, I'm like, okay, stupid. Amazon's losing money. Get the package. Empty. It's just 72 plain quarter roll sleeves with no quarters in them. I don't really know what I was thinking.
Yeah, kind of speechless.
I'm very speechless. I was very speechless when I saw this video. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Do you understand why this has happened to this generation? They're stuck just watching influencer videos.
Mm-hmm.
They're stuck watching people going on vacations. They're stuck watching people going to the grocery store. They're stuck watching people just sit back and, I mean, as you saw this young lady, she's eating while she's talking. She's having a conversation with you and she's just eating at the same time. What generation does that? Right? It's like me and Dora having a bag of chips here and we're going to eat some chips while we're talking to you. And yet people will sit there and watch uneducated stuff. They will watch stuff that doesn't even help them. I mean, what was she thinking? 72 quarters that she was going to get. I mean,
72 rolls of quarters.
Yes.
It's like, no, you go to your bank to go get quarters. You go get, there's other areas that you can go get change.
And you may say, well, I blame the parents. Well, sometimes these kids will not even listen to their parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Mom and Dad, I know more than you do. This influencer said this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or, it's like, okay, so you go back and you think, okay, like Ray was just mentioning, you want to blame the parents. But, in all, respect of some parents that they try to teach their kids. But like Ray said, no, I don't want to follow your rules. I don't want to do this because I've been watching this influencer and this is how they did it. So I'm out. And they're out. They check out. Mm-hmm. So it's like, wow. Yeah. I just couldn't believe it.
Another thing, if I would have did something like that, do you think I would have made a video about it?
That in another way kind of tells you that she's really clueless.
But do you know why she made that video? Because of all her followers think the same way. So they're like, oh, thank you for telling us that. Now I know not to order those 72 rows of quarters from Amazon. Yeah.
And that's another, that is another training tool that they go straight to Amazon because Amazon has all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not.
Mm-hmm. So before I get to the next articles and the other videos, let's get a little bit serious. Do you know what's happening next week? Everyone knows, and everyone is watching the United States of what is going to happen next week, which is, we are at, what did we say? We are November 2nd?
Yes.
November 2nd today. So here within 3 days, there's going to be two parties upset no matter what. Mm-hmm. And what do I say, two parties upset? It doesn't matter which party wins, both parties are going to be upset. You may ask, what do you mean? Think of this. If one party wins, let's just say the man wins. Now, I don't want to say names because I know how Facebook and YouTube is. So let's just say the man wins on the 5th. The woman party is going to be so upset. You thought 2020 riots and chaos and all that was happening. You think that was something. It will be 10 times worse than that. Why do you think it'll be 10 times worse than that? We have open borders. We have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and millions and millions and millions of people here to help now, to cause the chaos.
Yes.
And why did I say two parties will be upset? Because I want you to think about something. What do they do on the 6th of the very first month of the year? What did they do that time? They said this one group was causing chaos into the Capitol. So think about it. That's why I said both groups are going to be upset. Not so that it was actually that group doing that, but that's per se what they said that they were doing. What do I mean? Think about this. We have so much deception out there that they're going to say this group was doing something when it wasn't doing anything. So they'll say, see, both parties are upset and both parties are causing chaos. Or they may even say this party of the female party is not doing anything, but the male party is causing all this chaos because they won. Since they won, they're causing more chaos now. We have to be cautious of where we're going to be on that day. Are you going to be with the masses and the groups out there, celebrating or not celebrating? You have to be cautious. You have to be aware. Are you ready at home? What do I mean, are you ready at home? Let me show you this. If you can give me number 4. Are you ready at home? Because this right here, this is a warning. And they've been advertising this multiple times. Throughout this entire year and some of last year, they've been warning for people to be ready, to be prepared, to have food, shelter, water, supplies, medical inside their homes, and be ready for when it hits. They've been warning. And then the sad part is a lot of people are not taking this warning seriously. They're saying, it's not going to happen. Not here in the United States. It'll happen in other countries. Look. Europeans advised to stock up on food and water in case of war with Russia. That's just an excuse. That's a just downright excuse. There's something larger coming, and they know it.
Yes.
They're telling people to prepare for 72 hours, at least 72 hours of supplies. Let me tell you something. 72 hours of supplies is not enough. Let me go ahead and silence this before this keeps going on. 72 hours of food and supplies is not enough.
No.
You need a minimum of at least 2 weeks, and that's a minimum. I would go way longer than that.
Yes, and especially water. Water is it's, you should focus on of course, your food and all that, but water is going to be very, very scarce to find.
I'll give you an idea. You can try this at home. You can try this any day. And I would really say try this on a weekend. Tell your family, I tell you what, we're going to shut everything down. We're not going to have running water. We're not going to have electricity. And we're going to start it on Friday. And we're going to see how long we last and see how uncomfortable we get by Sunday. I'll tell you what, there's some teenagers that are stuck on this, and actually some elderly that are stuck on this, and I've seen it. We've gone to restaurants, and this is how they are.
Yes.
What would happen without internet, without electricity, without water, or without it being running? But you have some, and see how long you last with the supplies that you have in your household.
Yes.
And you will see how you will manage your water. All of us will manage our water.
Mm-hmm.
We will. Whilst we run out of water.
Yes.
The minimum you should have is at least 2 weeks worth of food, supplies, water. Minimum. I know they said 72 hours, but I tell you what, 72 hours, that stuff will go like this. A minimum of 2 weeks. In reality, you should have at least 6 months. 6 months to a year in reality. I'm telling you. Let me show you why you should have. You see right here, they're giving that warning, and people are not listening. The sad part, you can go to church, any of your local churches, and they will not be telling you to go stock up on food and supplies. They won't tell you. They will not. I've yet to hear a local church here tell anyone to stock up. I've yet to hear that the local church is actually stocked up to help every person in their congregation.
Yeah, because that's going to be very, very useful. If your church is doing it, that's great because they're being proactive on that. But if your church isn't doing it, then where is the community going to go? I mean, if you go back and you look at all these videos where the hurricanes hit and everything, the local people were the ones that were helping.
Mm-hmm.
The churches were the ones that were helping. So if your church isn't stocking up, if your church is not putting that out there for you to bring stuff to your local church, then where is it that you're going to go, and get help?
Mm-hmm.
Because it has to be localized. It starts right there locally.
Mm-hmm.
When a disaster hits or anything happens like that. And if the church isn't stocked up, then what are they going to do?
We have family that refuse to stock up. They don't believe nothing's going to happen. They're not stocking up on supplies, on food. They're not getting prepared. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you a quick video, and so you can see this. Wow. Yeah, see, this is what happens with social media, that they actually take it off of you also. Let me see if I can see it here. Now I'm going to get up here and I'll get this video to you so you can see this. This is a perfect example why you should be stocking up on food and supplies. And I'll show you this video right quick. Let me get up here to the camera.
What happened?
It went open. I could do the idea to unlock it.
Place your face down, baby. The other way. There you go. Like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Scan it again. No, el vato quiere beer y no sabe ni scan la ID.
It's my first time ever doing this.
Select what door you want. Oh my God.
6. Whatever 6.
Oh, you win $1,000.
I'm not doing. Now I go. You see that?
Yeah, he had to scan his ID to get his beverage.
So we might be off of Facebook because I just got an alert on mine saying that due to violent or graphic content, the video is covered so people can choose whether they want to see it. Again, just the title itself tells you they understand. There are liars. That's Facebook for you. We've been dealing with Facebook for the longest time. And this is what it shows on my end, that it's violent and it's been covered. Again, Facebook, I mean, you have demonic people working there. That's what they do.
Yes.
That's all they're about. And just something we're going to have to deal with. And the Lord said we're going to deal with that stuff. That's what's going to happen. And that's what we're dealing with right now. So there you go. I wanted to share that with you. Why? Because first of all, that gentleman didn't think a second of why is this happening?
Right.
Why do I have to show my driver license in order for this door to open?
Right.
And I know it was for beer, and people are going to say, see, it's just for beer. Don't worry about it. They're not going to do that for everything. Listen what? They are really working on this. And in fact, let me see if I can find that other video for you so you can see this other video that they also discussed.
Yeah, because that is just a way of conditioning the people to, get used to scanning their ID for everything, and like Ray had shown that video, and I was like, man, he didn't even like wait for a second to see why do I, or go somewhere else. Why do you have to scan? Why do you need my ID when I'm going to show my ID when I purchase the beer on the counter? So it just goes to show you that they're already starting to condition everything.
And people just automatically are going with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you, I'll guarantee you, if you ask that couple there at the store while they're doing that, hey, have you prepared at home? I mean, are you preparing, stocking up on food and water and supplies and medical stuff, or are you stocking up? Why would I do that? I guarantee you, that's what they would say. You can go to your local church and you can ask Christians, are they stocking up? Some will say yes. Some are awake, and I hope a lot more wake up. I'm going to show you something else. This is what they're doing in Kenya now. They're going to have this done by this year in December. It will be fully in effect by December. Watch. I'll let you hear from them themselves.
To you. The program targets the birth of new babies. So once you have your baby, before your baby leaves the hospital, you no longer get a paper birth certificate, but then you get a digital one that is somehow implanted somewhere on somebody's body. Think about that, but have a listen to this.
The digital ID, which have been a big problem to us for a very long time, is now on a testing mode for the next 2 months. I have been assured by all the stakeholders, led by the ministries concerned, that by December, we will be able to launch digital ID, where every Kenyan don't have to carry any paper, plastic or otherwise, as an ID, that they should be able to be identified digitally using their iris.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
Kenya is in serious trouble. Now, for you to accept this, that means you're going to be completely surveilled and controlled. Think about it. So now let me just put it blatantly to you. The program targets the birth of new babies. So once you have your baby, before your baby leaves the hospital, you no longer get a paper birth certificate, but then you get a digital one that is somehow implanted somewhere on somebody's body. Think about that, but have a listen to this.
Wow.
So see?
Yeah.
There you go. As I said before, we really have to get ready. We have to prepare, and not in a fearful way, because the Lord said that would happen. He said it was going to happen. And some people think that if we prepare, we're not having faith in the Lord. And that's further from the truth, because if you go read your Bible, there's a lot of them that prepare. In fact, God tells them to prepare. God tells them to stock up. God tells them to be good stewards. So we should be warning people and letting people know, look, this is what's really happening. Because there's people out there that have no clue. Like you saw that gentleman and his wife that went in there to that store, and immediately, without a question of, honey, do you know where we saw this at? Because probably they haven't read their Bible.
Right.
And immediately it goes to that. So that's what I'm talking about. We need to let people know and show them, look, the Bible is clearly unfolding before us, and this is how we should prepare and get ready. And again, I'll go back to next week, November 5th. Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe everything will go nice and smooth, and then the transition will go nice and smooth. And maybe it'll all go back to normal, and everybody will start getting rich, and everybody start going, everything be all normal again. Doesn't that sound like what do you call it? A romance novel?
Wishful thinking.
Or one of those romance novels, you know?
Yes.
You've seen those romance
and everybody
movies?
Lived happily.
Everybody ever lived happily ever after.
Which is not reality.
Mm-hmm. It's not. So all we're saying is, guys, get ready. Get ready. It doesn't matter who gets in office right now. The economy is going to collapse. No matter who gets in office, it's already there. It's like saying that big boulder, that round boulder, has been pushed down the mountain, and it's rolling. There's no stopping it no more.
Oh, yeah.
There's no stopping it. In 2025, you're going to see the effects of everything that has happened in 2024 with the food supply, with the shortages, and with the funding, the money, the retirements, and everything else. We're going to see that.
Yes.
We shouldn't be fearful, but we should prepare as best as we possibly can.
That's right.
So we just shared with you 2 different videos showing you what they're planning in Kenya. And they say, well, this won't happen in the United States. What? Do you know that they said that they won't be locking up those little refrigerators? And they are locking them up now.
Right. Yeah.
We said that those cash registers, self-checkouts, it's just, it's a convenience for people to hurry up and check themselves out. What? Have you seen that there's no more cashiers at Lowe's and Home Depot, and then it's all self-checkout now?
It's all going self-checkout.
Have you seen Walmart? How there's more self-checkouts than cashiers, maybe a handful of cashiers, maybe 3 or 4 cashiers. That's it. And the rest is self-checkout. Do you see how it's being programmed, how everybody's being programmed to check yourself out, go to the grocery store, get what you need, and leave? It's being set up in order for us to have to scan our ID. At first, it'll be scanning your driver's license at first, until they implement that everybody has to have a digital or a palm print or a facial recognition. They already have them on your phones. People automatically have done it on their phones to do it for themselves.
Yes.
They do it. I have coworkers, law enforcement. They gave each and every one of us a phone, and then of course it's GPS tracked and all and so on. And immediately everybody started putting their facial recognition on it to open it. Why? Because they said it was easier, it was more convenient. How do I know that? We're gonna go do a search warrant, and I needed one of their phones because I didn't have the phone I had left in the office, and I didn't want one of their phones. So they just said, yeah, just put it to my face. So I went like that, and sure enough, it went to them, and they immediately opened up. Because I asked, well, what's your password? Well, I just put it to my face because it was convenient. And that's what they're working with.
Yes.
Is your convenience.
Yes, your convenience. And you, again, going back to the quarter rolls, to where you don't have to think about what you're going to do. They already have it ready for you.
That you're hoping.
Yes.
You're hoping that you can just get online, get it delivered to your house, and boom, I got quarters.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So, it's just a conditioning. It's a conditioning. Just like Ray has, said several times on our videos that they don't want you to be thinking, no critical thinking for each and every one of us. That's where they want you. They want to have to where everything is at your disposal, which is more convenient for, and you don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm. And well, we'll leave it there because I was about to say some other stuff, but I'll leave it alone because I'll get on a little rant, but I don't want to get on a little rant because, well, you know what? Yes, I'll say it. We've all been to church, right? Some of us that are Christians and have gone to church. How many of us can remember that a pastor from the pulpit said, you know what? Think for yourself and go do your research of what I just said from the Bible. Go read it for yourself and go find out. How many of us have actually heard the pastor say, don't take my word for it, but go do your research, read your Bible, and see what I am teaching matches what the Bible says? Just a handful.
Yeah.
The rest will say, you got to take my word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Others will say, I have the anointing. You need to listen to me. Others will say, you should not question.
Don't question.
How was it? It's I forgot how they use it. Don't test the prophets or question the prophets, something like that. That don't touch the don't touch not the anointed ones or something like that. Yeah. Well, anyway, but that's what they do. So we've learned that from that and from school.
Yes.
In school, yeah. It tells you don't question it. You just learn the material that they're teaching you. Think about that. What happens when you're in homeschool and whenever you are raised out here and the parents say, you know what? You need to start questioning and you need to start thinking and you need to start asking questions. Why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. It's like, for instance, Dora does really good on ordering from Azure. She does really good from ordering from other places that we get our food from. How did Dora find out? She does some research. Mm-hmm. She decided to go outside the box and say, you know what, I need to find out and see where I need to order food that's actually good food.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You have to think outside the box. You have to be willing to ask questions and not just follow the herd because the herd is always wrong.
Yes. And have to, just be willing to go outside of your comfort zone, because something that you've never done is going to be a little bit different than your everyday, just getting in the car and going to the grocery store. I mean, you have to really, really, look at what's going to be best to do for my family in this time, and also money stretching. You have to budget a whole different way. And that's why we go back. You might say, we gotta say that all the time. We go back. If you're not just going to want to do it just to stock, at least get a little bit of extra to where you're not paying triple the amount for a product that you can get right now that's going to be triple in just a couple of months.
And I'm guilty of that because I sometimes don't like to buy engine parts that I'm trying to save $1 or $2, and Dora keeps saying, you know what, you need to buy it now before it gets going higher. And I'm like, I just don't want to spend that money. And she keeps telling me, you wait and it's going to go higher or they're not going to have it and you're going to have to go look for it somewhere else and so on. Yes, I'm guilty of that. But Dora's been pretty good about doing research on finding other recipes to see what we like, breads and so on. And that's what we're talking about. From scratch.
Yes.
Making it yourself.
Mm-hmm. But making it more convenient to where you can just open a container and just throw a couple of ingredients and make it yourself. You have to think outside the box. It's like, okay, I used to go to the store and buy a box of cornbread mix where you just instant, put an egg, milk, you're done. Well, you can do that yourself in your home with natural ingredients, with ingredients that you can get and do it yourself. It just takes time.
That and some of that stuff is all bioengineered.
Yes.
So now we have to do it ourselves, which we should have been doing. In fact, Dora's going to start making some of those videos to show you what she does, where she gets the recipes, and give you the recipe. That way you'll get it yourself as well to help you. So I think that's about it, right?
Yes. And again, next week, if you didn't do what you needed to get done these past 2 weeks as an early time, hey, you're just going to have to stand in line and do it on Tuesday if you didn't get to do it.
Yeah. But go do it. I'm telling you, if that lady gets in office, if Christians thought that that man was bad, wait until that lady gets in office. Yeah. You talk about some Christian persecution.
Yes.
She said it. She said that Jesus doesn't belong in her rallies.
That's right.
Out of her own mouth, she said.
The video's out there. Hopefully still, unless they took it down.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We will see you on Monday.